All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Keith. I'm one of the co-founders of the Community Barbecue Club. We're here tonight to teach you how to smoke a turkey. Before we get into that, I want to go into a little bit of our aspect of the club, which we don't get into much. So we have three main aspects of the club. We have classes, like where you're at here now. We have community events, where we try to get out and do some outreach into the community, do some good for folks. And then we have discounts at local partnering businesses. Now, at these businesses, you can get 5% off here, 10% off there. Mr. Justin here at the food truck, he offers 20% off at his food truck. But what we don't get into much and haven't had a whole lot of participation yet is in our community service. So a little while ago, I was watching a movie with my wife about a little small town out in eastern Texas, I believe it was. Yeah, it's a town called Possum Trot. If you can get on Google, you can look that up. And what that is, that's a movie about a small community of about 22 families or so, who back in the early 60s, I think, got together and really got into fostering children. And there were a whole lot of children in that foster community down there that didn't have anywhere to go. And they banded together as a community, as families. They leaned on each other. And that town became an experimental process for the state of Texas by just how well these people were able to come together and make a difference in the lives of foster children. Now, I'm not suggesting everybody here go out and adopt a kid. That's not where I'm getting at. Where I'm getting at right here is that we, as a people, as a community, as a club, as we get together, we can make something very positive happen here, not only in Murfreesboro, but in Middle Tennessee itself. If you look around this room, this club started with just 3 people. 2 disabled veterans and probably the best guy in Murfreesboro.
Oh, come on.
Now, that guy's got the biggest heart and is probably the best person I've met here in town.
Yeah.
When I was in the service, and Patrick can speak somewhat to this, when we were in the Army, we put service to our country. And we were going to step up and we could go do things. And I've been overseas and Patrick has been overseas. And we're not seeking credit for that. But if we are willing to step up and potentially have something bad happen to us there, why can't we do something here, right? If I'm willing to write that check and do something that grand, well, when I come home, why can't I also serve here? And that was a big part of this club. That's a huge part of just coming here. And you know what? I can give $5 to the homeless guy. That's not going to kill me. But I can talk to these guys and be like, hey, maybe we can put something together. Maybe we can get out there and do some outreach. I think the first time that we did a community event, we went down to the Tennessee Veterans Home here in Murfreesboro on July 4th. And we fed the staff who had to work over the holidays there for free. We just took down a bunch of pulled pork and sandwiches and said, you know what, we really appreciate you guys being willing to work here and willing to take care of America's senior veterans. And they appreciated that, and it's a good thing to do. But it didn't take us more than 12 hours and a little bit of time, a little bit of pork. The club paid for it all. Next community event we had, we went down to a local apartment community, and we had probably 35 people come out for free food. But what we got out of that was neighbors talking to each other again. Because a lot of those people in that complex, that was the first time that they had really met each other and shake hands and traded names back and forth and got to know each other. And these are people who are living right on top of each other. So if we can do that, if we can make that big of a difference, we can get away from the digital world and move back into the communities that we're supposed to be. If you want to think about barbecue and cooking food over open pits, this is the history. This is what tribes have been built over. This is what relationships are built over. If you think of any gathering, anywhere, weddings, funerals, get-togethers, family come-togethers, you can count on one of 2 things that's going to be there for sure. That's going to be a campfire, and there's going to be food. And most of the time, there's going to be both. And so if we can take that and harness that and come together here as a club and really get out there and do something, there is no end to the positive force that we can make. So with that, I'm going to bring up Justin Fible from Justin's Barbecue Food Truck, and he's going to talk to us how to cook a turkey.
I'm not sure I'm going to use the mic. I talk with my hands, so I'll be following the mic everywhere. If that's okay. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm Justin, Junior's Barbecue here in Murfreesboro. I just started full-time about 1.5 years ago. I decided to get out of the corporate world, do my own thing. Just couldn't answer to the man anymore. So I just decided to pull the trigger. I was over at Gordon Food Service. I was a manager over there, and it's always been a dream of mine to have my own food truck. And the guys, like customers coming in there, all the food trucks, restaurants, I like, just do it. I prayed about it, talked to my wife about it, and May 4th of last year, handed in my resignation, bought a food truck, and started going with it. Just want to add a little bit on the 20% off. That's not only to the community club. So if you know veterans, military, first responders, and a lot of people don't do this, but educators, to me, that's the backbone of the country right now. They probably have third hardest job in America. I mean, teaching these kids. So I just want to do my respect towards them as well. All right, so let's do this. Probably gonna eat first, that way the turkey doesn't get too cold. I did these in two different ways. Both of them are new to me. Well, not really new to me, but the flavor profiles are different. I figured, why not try something new when I'm here with y'all? So this one is kind of a newer style. It's just a different way to spatchcock it, but it makes it kind of look like a bullfrog, just a little fun way to cut it. Instead of going down the backbone, you just separate the breast, flip it out, and cook it from the top. This one's probably gonna be really spicy. I linked up with a local hot chicken place. They're actually out of Smyrna, Max Hot Chicken. I used a little bit of their Nashville hot rub and some Chipotle rub. I incorporated it in the brine mixture as well. And this is just gonna be kind of like a standard, it's a spatchcock style. And it's just gonna be just like a brown butter garlic rub is what I use for it, but it's just spatchcock. Again, I'll get into how to fillet these and pull them open like that. Let's go ahead and get tasting these first. That way they don't get too cold.
Can I help you with anything, Justin?
I don't think so.
So right now you're separating the
Breast from the breastplate. Y'all go ahead and come help yourselves. There's plenty up here. We've got some plates and forks right here.
There you go.
Feel a little extra.
Yeah.
I don't know why I apologize to every single person that I'm like not in the way of. Anyway, sorry.
Yummy.
Yummy, yummy.
Yep.
Works pretty good.
Yeah, I use this thing for everything.
Do we have one of those? We need one of those.
Not too bad.
This is spicy. Let me see.
Like one good knife. So like one every 3 seconds.
No, that's good.
Ashton.
I don't think you heard me when I
Big one.
I don't think you heard me when I asked to get extra. Did you get extra for me? No?
Tyler, there's more up
I
here.
have to go. I was trying not to have to like hold something so you could take a picture.
Sorry, I saw food.
It's okay.
Keith don't share. Keith doesn't share food.
Very good.
I can't. Picture doesn't have to wait.
Esther, leave that balloon over there. Put it back.
Please.
Anybody else say no?
Yes, you can. Hey. Proud?
I don't know, you might have some competition. That's really good.
Speaking of which.
Oh man, did mom tell you that, Key?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's on.
It's good.
Yay.
Should we get the spicy and the regular? I like that spicy one.
Hey.
So where does this roll come from again?
Mac's Hot Chicken in Smyrna.
That is good.
These more.
No.
Everybody's coming up for seconds. That's how you know it's good.
Yes, sir, it was.
Is there time? Should I pull it over? Should I pull it over?
Anybody need any more before I put it up?
Yeah.
Huh? Uh-huh.
Which one? Hey, go ahead. Which one? You want this one? Absolutely.
That's all right.
Which one you want?
Hey, Steve, how you doing?
Came
just in time. Ooh, that's good.
Hey, how you doing?
Sorry, I'm
We're
late.
just doing, no, you good. We're doing,
That's dang good.
taking coffee right now.
Oh, okay. How was you?
Yeah, perfect.
It's super subtle. Like a little bit of kick. For the most part, yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What's more?
Good, how about you?
No, we're just starting.
Oh, man, it's so good.
I wasn't expecting it to be like that.
Same.
Yeah. You mean the other one's going to say, like, you got a problem?
They don't have, this one here. I've got a hint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on the face.
recovery.
Yeah.
But he's walking around with me.
I never took that one. My brother got one.
Is that bad?
Yeah, she did not a spicy person. You okay with it?
I said, I said, it's not so spicy. I ate one.
Really good.
It did. Very tasty.
My daughter's thinking of a video. Good morning.
Try that. If you could post that video on Facebook group, I would be very interested in trying
I
that.
didn't even think of it.
That sounds really good. I had never heard of that.
But after having this,
Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna do the turkeys. I'll smoke chicken rather than a turkey.
Yeah, we usually do one every year.
This is really good too. This is more than one my skinny cat is over there. So good.
Sitting on this, or my okay.
So, just for after, that way we can get this table cleaned up. So I have like a 4-foot table I use. I just throw aluminum foil over top of it and just trash it at the end. Yeah. Hello. All right. So, hope y'all enjoyed that. Another thing, I don't know if y'all wear these or not, but these are game changers. I get them on Amazon. I think I get like 12 pair for like $8. I think I want to say they're called like packing gloves or something like that, but I can't feel a thing pulling it. Like I pull everything off the smoker with my hands, put these underneath your gloves. It's a game changer. All right, so this is the smallest turkey you've ever seen. I just didn't feel like buying another turkey, so I bought a chicken, just so I can show you all how to spatchcock. Super simple. So when you're picking out a turkey, I tend to go for 12 to 13 pounds, about the size that we had right here. I mean, it fed all of us. I mean, I know not heavily, but enough. A lot of families, you know, when they get together, they're not feeding 50 people, which some do, most don't. I tend to do 12 to 13. I find that they're the most tender. When you start getting up to the 18 to 20 pound turkeys, they get a little bit drier, a little bit gamier, older. So kind of the younger, fresh hens is kind of what I go for. It's hard to find them fresh, so typically, you know, you have to get them frozen, especially around this time because they're just coming out in bulk. So when to thaw, I typically go a day for every 5 pounds. So if you get a 13-pound bird, you're looking at about 2.5, 3 days to thaw in the refrigerator. I know a lot of people that don't cook, not for a living, but just on the regular, they'll throw it under hot water. They'll leave it out. Don't do that. There's so many contaminants. Like you want to keep any kind of meat, anything refrigerated under 43 degrees to keep it safe from contaminants and bacteria growing and stuff like that. So try not to thaw under hot water, under really any water in general. That's a no-go. Again, they make bigger bags. They're called bird bags. I know Killer Hogs has his own brand, but they're 4.5, 5-gallon bags that you can use for a brine. I typically brine every bird that I get, turkey-wise. I know I have a chicken, but I just wanted it for reference. And try to find a turkey that's not in a brining solution. A lot of them will just be straight frozen or frozen in water. Frozen in water is fine. You're going to have a lot more runoff. So if you have any aluminum pans or a bowl or a bucket that you can thaw it in, because they are going to leak. Even the little minute holes that come just through packaging, it'll leak out, get all in your refrigerator, and it's a mess. And my wife hates when I do that. So I typically will use a full pan. I have a separate fridge out in the garage. I'll scoot some of my beer over, put it in there.
Blasphemy.
I know. I just gotta get rid of it. Just scoot it over a little bit. Leave the bird whole when you brine it. You don't have to spatchcock it. That's for afterwards. You do want to make sure that your brine level is over the entire bird. You don't want to leave any of it exposed. Not that big of a deal. It's just kind of my go-to. This is how I do it. I'm not telling there's not a right or wrong way. Unless you don't brine it, that's wrong. But I always go breast side down. Your breast is going to have the most flavor. It's what most people go to. I go to dark meat and poultry. That's just my favorite. but a lot of people go straight for the white meat. So always have it down in the bag, and then you'll cover, like I said, there's so many different kind of brines out there. A lot of people will just do salt, half sugar. That gives it good flavor. There's, you know, Meat Church, Killer Hogs, everybody has their brine mix. Kinder has theirs now, which I don't know where they came from over the past 6 months, but they've just came out with every kind of seasoning known to man. Fire and Smoke from Walmart, they have one. It's just
Lane's brine right there.
Lane, yeah, Lane, that's a good one. All right,
If you order $50 worth of that, you get $5 off. Just
all right, so brining, and then after you get done brining, easiest way to do it, take it to a sink, just cut the bottom of it off, let everything drain out, pull the bag, clean your sink first, don't do it over top of dishes, that's nasty. And then pull it out of the brine mix, and big thing to do is to make sure you dry your bird. A lot of people will tell you to leave it, just put it back in the fridge. It can, with the salt concentration that is in most brine kits, it can sit, again, in a pan, open in the fridge for up to 2 days and be fine. Honestly, the longer the better, because the longer that salt sits on that bird, it's gonna dry that skin, you're gonna get that crispier skin. Growing up, everybody knew not to touch the skin because that was my grandma's favorite part. She would come in and just eat the entire skin off the turkey. And I thought it was disgusting until I started cooking turkeys, and then nobody touches the skin except for me. So again, make sure we're, you know, patting it dry, and then a lot of people inject. I love an injection. I do a Creole butter with some paprika, cayenne, garlic, and butter, of course. Just hit the breast probably 6-7 places down. You'll start to see it expand. I wish I'd have brought some, but I didn't think about that. You know, you're gonna inject everything. You'll start to see it balloon up in the legs, the wings. You don't have to worry about the wing tips, but in the wings, you know, put an ounce or two in each wing, a couple ounces in each leg. But you're going to really concentrate again on those breasts, just because that's a fan favorite. I always butter up the breast, just because I feel like I'm being repetitive, but that's just everybody's go-to. So to spatchcock, super easy. Get a good pair of kitchen shears.
Hey, just thanks for
Yeah.
You just get the injector if you want.
If he wants to show, yeah. I'll inject it if he has the stuff.
Ask you a question. So you said after the brine, you put it in the refrigerator and just let it sit up to 2 days or longer? What's the longest?
Up to 2 days. Like 2 days is the cutoff. Yeah. You don't want to leave it in there over 2 days, because then the actual meat itself will start drying out. Kind of like you ever seen like ground beef start to get gray. Poultry will do the same thing. So I just go straight down the backbone. It's a little tough sometimes, just getting through those bones, but it's some of the smallest bones in poultry, so just kitchen shears go straight through it. Just go through from the top and from the bottom. And it's always harder on the second side just because it doesn't have that tension from the other side.
Oh, okay, you already. I had you inject it.
Oh, I can inject it.
All right.
Then somebody can take it home and cook it.
It's just water. It's the water.
Oh, gotcha. So after you get it open, just get a knife. Just go straight. There's a top of the breastplate is right up here. You don't want to crack it. Really, you just slice it just a little bit, and then you flip it back over, give it CPR, flatten it out. But then it's laid up nice and pretty. I typically will tuck the wingtips back underneath the breast. Tuck these back underneath there. Let it get a nice little sun, like it's sunbathing. And then that's about it on how to spatchcock it. So there's about 11 different types of injectors out there too. You know, a lot of them, like the Tony Satcheries, they typically come with one. But it's just like a big needle. And just like I said, you know, put it in right here in this leg, and you'll see it puff up. You'll see it puff up just a little bit. Just kind of do the same thing.
Horizontally, right?
Yeah. Always go into it, because if you go straight down, you're going to end up poking through and then just spraying it everywhere. And then the breast as well, you'll be able to see it. And then just kind of pull out as you're going, because if you have a seasoned injection, you're going to end up getting pockets of seasoning. A lot of people will think it's, you know, undercooked or whatnot, just because there's. But yeah, I mean, you can see it puffing up everywhere, and then I'll typically flip it back over because I'm gonna season this bottom side anyways, and then get anywhere that you didn't see from that top side. The top of the breast right here is a lot of misplaced. Inside the breast, right where you crack the breastbone, just make sure you're saturating the entire bird right here. I don't know how many of y'all have used an injector, but there's holes all the way up to help kind of disperse, and it goes in every direction as well. So what I'll do is I'll typically leave it on its front, because I'm gonna season this bottom side, and then I'll season it. But first, I'll dry it back off, and then I know it kind of defeats the purpose in a sort, but I like to use duck fat over any kind of butter, or a lot of people use apple cider vinegar more on red meats, but I've seen people do it on turkeys. But duck fat, it's organic. I mean, you're putting it back on a bird. It adds flavor, and then it's going to help you crisp that skin up as well. And it has a high smoke point. I think the smoke point of duck fat is like 500 degrees, so you're not going to take the risk of spraying it with, like, say, canola oil and it getting burnt black and stuff like that. Yeah. And this is what I season my grills with as well. So you're gonna hit it with the duck fat, season it, then I'll let it sit 15-20 minutes, kind of let it all soak in, let the rub do its work, and then I'll flip it back over, repeat the process. Tuck his little wings back in, hit it with some duck fat, season this side, get the smoker rolling. For birds, I typically do 275, 325, anywhere in that range. The hotter you go, quicker it's gonna dry out, of course, but the higher you go, the crispier your skin's gonna be. And a lot of the crispiness of the skin too is gonna be in what you're cooking as well. So if you're cooking in a tower smoker like Patrick likes, be careful too if you cook multiple birds in yours. The drippage is just gonna wreck the skin underneath it. I go anywhere from 2.5 to 4 hours, depending on the bird, depending on the fire. When I had one bird off 35, 45 minutes before the other one, they're about the same size. One was 13.2 and the other one was 12.9. So not very much weight difference, but it took 45 minutes longer. It's also going to be where it was sitting at in the pit. My pit's pretty even across the board. So again, just it's going to vary between each bird. Breast, you want to hit anywhere from 160 to 165. The reason why I'm not saying 165 is because if you're going to let it sit 15, 20 minutes, it's going to keep cooking. Especially if you throw a little bit of foil on top of it, it's going to keep that cooking process and hit you right at 165. Dark meat, I typically go 180, 190 in that range. Your dark meat is going to cook a lot quicker than your white meat, so just keep that in mind. If you're only tipping the thighs, your breasts aren't going to be cooked all the way. So always go the thickest part of the breast. Dark meat, in my opinion, I don't ever tempt the dark meat because I know it's going to cook quicker. It's going to be there. If my breasts are at 165 in the deepest part, my dark meat's good. Again, we're going to let it rest 15, 20 minutes, up to 30 minutes. Let kind of those juices reincorporate into the muscles that broke down a little bit. Really kind of re-marinate itself. And then slice and serve. That's really all I have. It's not really, I don't want to say hard, but it's a process. I mean, you're pulling it, up to 5 days before you're cooking. That's the biggest kicker. A lot of people forget to pull their turkeys. So 5 pounds, 1 day is typically the thing. And if you're going to brine it, the salt in the brine will help thaw it out. So if you have a little bit of ice, especially in the cavity as it's closed up, that salt will help pull it through as well. Don't throw away your necks. Put your necks in some gravy. Just cook those. I see so many people just take the packet, throw it away, and I throw all of it in there: gizzards, livers, hearts, neck, everything in my gravy. And it's just it puts that, even if it's store-bought gravy, you put all the extra stuff in there, it's gonna put it over the top. But yeah, that's about all I have. Hope it wasn't too rough, but.
So for a spatchcock turkey,
Yep.
it's typically going to take a little less cooking time than a traditionally cooked whole turkey.
Not necessarily. It's more of a presentation thing. I've had whole turkeys cook quicker than spatchcocks, just because you get the cavity inside and it just keeps the hot air going. So it's blasting air through there, and it has the where the neck was and the bottom cavity, and air is just blasting through there through your cooking process. So it could, but it couldn't. Again, it's just based on the bird. Like I said, I've had whole turkeys cook quicker than spatchcocks.
Yep, that's good. And so in comparison for a whole turkey, so the cavities, the pockets.
Mm-hmm.
So is it good to just pull that skin back for a whole turkey and rub down in there with seasoning so we can get it?
Yeah. So when I do whole turkeys, like for big event, or not, when I do whole chickens, but it correlates to the same thing. Put it up on his head, just sprinkle all your seasoning down in there, and stick your hand in there. Don't be afraid to get dirty. Just get in there, spread all that out again, so you're pulling flavor from the inside out.
So when you do it, you do skin up.
It's gonna be breast up. Yep. Yep. It's gonna cook just like it's sitting right now. That's why whenever I do the injection, I inject it on the bottom last. That way I season it and then flip it back over, and then season the top and then put it straight on there.
So how do you do it? She have a pellet grill. So how do we cook that on a pellet grill? How long does it take?
Same way. Yeah. Like I said, 275 to 325, probably about 300, and then just cook it. Most grills, it doesn't matter which grill you have in here, temperature and time are going to translate.
So do you recommend when she pull it off, wrapping it in foil?
Yeah, just kind of. I don't know if y'all saw me when I just put it in a full pan, and I didn't seal the foil, but I just kind of draped it. Yeah, yeah.
And if you're using the injector, you don't need to like stuff butter between the skin and the breast.
No. Typically, what you'll inject it is going to be butter, so you're going to have all that in there. And then typically every hour, so about 3 times through the cooking process, I'll hit it with the duck fat just to help kind of crisp. I know it's kind of backwards, but to give that smoke something to pull from, putting a little bit of moisture on top of that skin is going to help dry it out a little bit.
Where do you get that from?
Kroger, really Publix, Kroger, Walmart.
So if your turkey's already brined when you buy it, do you still brine it again? Yeah.
You can. I kind of shy away from the brine turkeys. If that's what you have to get, if that's what you have,
I don't know if it's brined or not. So
you'll be on there. It'll typically say if it is or not. If it is, I'd still brine it anyways.
It won't be too salty.
No. Oh, that's another thing I forgot to mention. Whenever you dump the turkey into the sink, go ahead and spray it off. Spray all that excess salt from the top off as well, because a lot of the seasonings you're going to get, I typically won't buy a seasoning if it's over 120 milligrams. You'll see some of sodium. You'll see some of these things 600, 650, and I typically say 120 and less on all my seasonings.
And this will work for a chicken just as it would a turkey.
Yep.
Just
same process. Time. Yeah, probably 45 minutes to an hour on the turkey or on the chicken. Getting all my birds mixed up now.
I know it's a 20-pound bird my wife bought. So is there anything I can do to keep it from drying out?
Brine it, yeah. I would brine it, even if it is brine, because whenever you're thawing that bird out, it's going to drop most of that brine. And as quick as they freeze them, because they put them through a flash freezer, which they'll freeze 15-20 minutes, it's not going to have time to absorb that. So I would probably unwrap your turkey, and if you have a big space to put it, just the frozen bird in a full pan, put it in the refrigerator to let all that stuff just go ahead and as it's thawing to wash away.
Okay.
See a lot of people do the like the cooler ice chest.
Yep.
Recommend that?
Yeah, actually that's how I brined mine last night. Is I put them in the big brine bags. I dropped one down, put a layer of ice, kind of kept one side open, and put the other bird on top of it, on top of the side, and then covered it back over with ice as well. Depending on your cooler, I mean, you got 3 to 7 days it can sit in there. I wouldn't brine over probably 48 hours. Typically, I shoot for 10 to 12 hours on my brines.
How long do you let it rest after cooking?
About 15-20 minutes.
So from the brine, you just take it and let it sit out and dry a little bit.
After the brine?
The refrigerator.
Yeah.
Uncovered, right?
Uncovered, yeah. Let that skin dry out a little bit. Up to 2 days, yeah. I had a PowerPoint, but somehow the file got corrupted. So I was like, oh no. So I had to like jot down my notes and try to do it the best I could. But
yeah, so that's good because he's saying by the rule of thumb, state, regulations with microorganisms and bacteria, you don't want to go past 48 hours on anything resting. So that's what he's getting at.
Yep. Any other questions? Cool.
So
Everybody good?
On the spatchcock,
one more.
You had 2 different spatchcocks.
Yeah, so the other one, again, was like
Butterfly.
it's a bullfrog. It kind of looks like a bullfrog. I can show another picture. I know we kind of dug into it. But where it kind of looks like a frog. Big old head.
So that's where you cut the breast down and just spread it
Yep,
open.
so I should have bought 2 chickens. But yeah, you go straight underneath the breast down to the breastplate and start pulling up, and then just kind of taking a knife and doing that as you're pulling up on the breast, and then until it releases, and then flip it back over and kind of push it down, and it'll flatten out. It's more of just a conversation piece, if you wish. So.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
All right. Well, Justin, we appreciate the help, and thank you for the class. All right. Well, that is how to smoke a turkey and how to prep it and get it all ready. If you all would, before you head out tonight, we do have a sign-in sheet up front for your name, phone, and email. That just helps us track attendance, and if you want to reach out, then we know how to get a hold of you when we need to. There are business cards here for Junior's Barbecue and for the community club. Yes?
The QR code doesn't work on the back of that. I didn't realize that until I ordered 5,000 of them.
That's his, not ours.
Yeah.
QR code works on ours.
Yeah, y'all's works. Mine doesn't. All the information's on the back. All the QR code was to my online ordering system, but all my information's there if you need it.
And are you prepping? Are you placing orders for turkeys?
Not this year. I have some family coming in from out of town, and I took this year off.
Are there any other questions we can help you out with tonight?
We use the same technique for like turkey wings. This is for the turkey wings.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. This is for birds.
Yep.
Turkeys, chickens, seagulls.
Pigeons.
Pheasants.
Yeah, yep.
No pigeons.
All right, well, if you are not a member of the club, we do highly encourage you to sign up with us. Check us out on our website. The QR code on the back of ours does work, so you can check us out there. We also have a Facebook page where it's public, where we put out a lot of information for upcoming events, upcoming community events. And then we also have a actually private Facebook group, which is separate from the page. In that private group is where everybody here can trade information back and forth, ask questions. Say you're getting ready to cook a ribeye, it's your first ribeye, your first grill. You can reach out to somebody in that group, like Justin here, who's a professional, and he can say, hey, this is what you do, X, Y, Z. And you don't have to go pay $30, $40, $50, $100 for a ribeye class. You can just reach out to somebody who knows what they're doing right there in that group. So that's a good perk. Are there any other questions we can help with tonight?
What are we doing next month?
Oh, yes, next month. For shame on me. Next month, Patrick is going to teach us how to smoke bacon. You're going to be making your own bacon, going all the way from pork belly up to finished product.
You said we'll be making the bacon?
Well, I'll bring along various stages in the process because it takes 7 days to cure a pork belly to make it bacon. So I'll have one that's plain, just pork belly. I'll have a cured one but not smoked, and then I'll have some smoked bacon we can fry up and give to people.
Okay.
Be prepared because he got some really good pork belly bacon. We'll get hooked.
Also on our website, if you're interested, we do have an online store where you can buy t-shirts, polos, tumblers, that kind of stuff. You look over at Mr. Patrick now, you can see old Vanna White right there, showing off what we have available. But seriously, the community club is here not only to have classes like this, but so we can get out there and do something and help some folks. The more club members we have, the more people we can help, and then anybody and everybody is more than invited to help us out with our community events. So you'll find those on an upcoming events page on our site, as well as on Facebook as well. So thank you all for coming out, and we hope to see you for Patrick's class on the 14th.
Turkey Bird Day coming up.
We don't know yet.